Muévete. Muévete, Milo. Milo wants to be in the frame. Okay, come on, Milo. Milo wants to be in the frame. Here, you want to be on camera? You're on camera. Say hi, Milo. Sorry about the noise. I'm washing clothes right now. Hello, you guys. Welcome to today's video. Today, we are going to do a fall book recommendations video. So this video is for all of the people that don't know what to read for this fall/autumn season, and I am here to help you out. And let me know down below what other fall books you guys are going to read, and if you're curious about my fall TBR, here's a sneak peek. There's actually a video out if you're curious of what I'm gonna read this fall season. Make sure you guys watch that video. So let's get on with the video. So these are all of the books that I'm going to be recommending. So make sure you guys subscribe because next year I'm gonna read a lot more books. I would like to start with this one book for those people that I can't let go of summer and they're like, I can't wait for fall. Usually these traditional books are great for that because they're very in between. I'm trying to do the little transition between the seasons. I feel like those are good books because sometimes it's hard to get into a season right away for some people. And it is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I just finished this and there's gonna be a whole reading vlog about my thoughts and my rating about this book. If you guys are new here, I love Ashley Poston's writing. I am a huge fan of her and I want to meet her in real life because she is my favorite author. Every book that I read from her has good ratings. So this one is very mixed feelings and mixed thoughts about this book, and I'm like, scratch that, I love this book. And this one's basically about, he's making sure the angles are right. Look at Milo at his a little clip of what Milo's doing and nothing's blurry. So you're basically following Eileen, but in the book, little nickname is Elsie. She has like a little grouped club, and she was on her way to the cabin where she was gonna meet all her friends, but this year all of her friends had plans and they're all getting married, they're doing this, and Elsie's like, well, what about me? My life is not that interesting right now, so you guys go along ahead and I'll be alone this year. She's off going to the little cabin. Obviously, her car is gonna break down when she was driving and she stumbled upon this little town. When she was walking around and talking to these people, they reminded her of her favorite series. And she was like, wait, you guys remind me of my favorite series? And what are you guys doing here? Little did she know she was in her favorite series. This book is such a bookish book. And I highly recommend, if you like to read books about books, this book is one for you. Right when she went to the town, it started raining. And I was like, what is a cozy vibe? It's just so cozy and you need to get to the right vibe and the right mood for this book. This is so perfect. I love this cozy little magical realism book. And I highly recommend this because I love anything Ashley Poston writes. This is like a small town little romance because guess what? Her love interest is a grumpy guy and he loves books. He's a grumpy librarian. He has a bookshop. And I have so many quotes because there's gonna be a reading vlog on this, so I'm just gonna save my thoughts on my rating for that video. So if you guys are interested in my thoughts and rating and my experience with this book, make sure you guys watch this video. It's gonna be out soon. So we're still gonna be on the Ashley Poston's train. The next book I recommend is The Dead Romantics by one and only Ashley Poston. This is the ultimate fall little book. If you like ghosts and romance, and this book is for you. Romance is dead, and this isn't what she had in mind. Florence Day. How cool of a name is that? Florence Day is the ghostwriter of one of this famous romance author. And after a terrible breakup, she no longer believes in love. It's good as dead. When her new editor, a too handsome mountain of a man, won't give her an extension of her book deadline, Florence prepared to kiss her career goodbye. But then she gets a phone call that she never wants to receive, and she must return home for the first time in a decade to help her family bury her beloved father. And her family has like funeral parlor until she finds a ghost standing at the funeral parlor front door. And guess who it is? Guess who it is? Handsome as ever, he's just as confused and why he is there. Romance is most certainly dead, but so is her new editor, and his unfinished business will have her second guessing everything she ever talked about love stories. You okay? The next book I recommend is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, and this is my favorite thriller. So this one's following Daisy Darker. It is her nana's birthday. Her whole family is gonna go to her nana's gothic little house in like a little like islands kind of next to the sea, giving like the whole dark, gloomy, gothic writing and scenery, and it was just so perfect. When the tide comes in, they will be cut off from the world for 8 hours. Then it struck at midnight. As the storm rages, Nana is found dead. An hour later, the next family member follows. Trapped on an island, when somebody is killing them one by one, the Darkers must reckon with their present danger as well as their past before the tide goes out and all all is revealed. The next up, I have another Alice Feeney book. This is Rock, Paper, Scissors, jaw-dropping. This book was so jaw-dropping. Yeah, I know this is like a little wintry book, but I feel like, don't you want to read all of Alice Feeney's books? Like, I would. So we're following Mr. and Mrs. Wright. Every anniversary, the couple exchange conditional gifts, and Adam's wife writes him a letter she never lets him read until now. Adam Wright has face blindness. He can't even recognize his own wife, and Amelia is sick of feeling unseen. When Adam and Amelia win a weekend getaway to Scotland, it might be what their marriage needs. This weekend's may or break their marriage, but they did not randomly win this trip. One of them is lying, and someone doesn't want them to live happily ever after. But yeah, you have both point of views of Adam and Amelia, and you never know who's telling the truth and who's lying, and it's like one of those, like, you can't trust no one. Beware. But yeah, speaking of plot twists, this is another book that was like jaw-dropping. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. Alicia, she killed her husband Gabriel one night, and she is the silent patient, is hidden away from the tabloids at the Grove. She never spoke a single word ever again, and people would try to make her speak. She would not have it until criminal psychotherapist Theo is captivated by Alicia's story and jumps at the opportunity to work with her. His determination to get her to talk and unravel the mystery of why she shot her husband. Do you remember what I was talking about? I was talking about this book. Good book. Highly recommend Alex Michaelides. This was completely jaw-dropping, and good luck. Let's get on to talking about Frida McFadden. She literally gets me out of the reading slump whenever I am in a reading slump, so I highly recommend Frida McFadden. They're literally fast-paced, and there's different stories, and she has a lot of books out, so get on to it. Let's start with the first one. We have The Inmate by Frida McFadden. About Brooks. She is a practitioner at a men's maximum security prison. Number 1, treat all prisoners with respect. Number 2, never reveal any personal information. Number 3, never ever become too friendly with the inmates. Nobody knows about her intimate connection to Shane Nelson. He is one of the most dangerous inmates, and they certainly don't know that Shane was Brooks' high school sweetheart, the star quarterback who is now spending the rest of his life in prison for a series of murders. Brooke was the one who put him there, but Shane knows, and he will never forget. And then the next other books that I recommend is the Housemate series by Frida McFadden. There's this first book, it's the blue book, and then this one is the second one, this one's the third one. So basically, this whole series, you're following Millie. She is a housemate. Like, each book has a different family or like a different series of stories, but basically the first one is a housemate in this perfect little family. Some crazy stuff happened. And then the second book is kind of following the same concept, that she is in a housemaid, but she is in a condo with this couple, Mrs. and Mrs. Garrett, and Mr. Garrett is like, okay, clean my apartment, but never go upstairs and bother my wife. But you know Millie, she's a little curious, and she's gonna find out what is going on. The next series I'm actually going to be talking about. These are for the dark romances and the spicy lovers. This series is for you. A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This is basically a Hades and Persephone's retelling, reimagining the series that I first got into when I first started my reading journey, and I fell in love with the series and her writing, and I love anything Greek mythology. This is a modern intake too, so this is not like in the centuries back then. It's Persephone's in New York, and she's a journalist, and she's meeting Hades. He's the god of the underworld, and Persephone is the god of spring. So it's so cool because she's trying to act normal at the same time as being, she's like literally a goddess, and you're going along with her, and this is like 100% Persephone's point of view. There is Hades books if you guys are interested, if you want a Hades point of view of what his thoughts and his life in the underworld. Highly recommend. I love these series. The Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I fell in love with this. This is actually young adult, so it's very easy to read, very fast paced. Basically Criminal Minds, but in a teenager version. I think one of the books I read in one day. Every book has a different story, and you're getting to know all the characters. So basically you're following the main character. Her name is Cassie. She's a normal girl, but she's naturally good at reading people. The Natural program found her. They're trying to solve cold cases. Basically, Salone, she is good at statistics, math, everything, numbers. Cassie, she's good at reading people, and I think there's another character, he's also good at reading people too. Leah, she is good at lying and seeing who's lying. And Michael, he's good at reading facial expressions, and it's like so cool because each of them has different powers, and it's like so cool to go along with them. And I fell in love more and more with the series because guess what? There's a love triangle, and I love triangles, and I love this series, so you guys better pick these up. The next series that I recommend is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross and Ruthless Rivals Infinity Stars. I love this book. This is another Greek mythology, dude. As you can see, there's a pattern. I love Greek mythology and workplace romance rivals. When two young rival journalists find love through a magical connection, they must face the depths of hell in a war between gods to seal their fate forever. So you're following Iris and Roman. But yeah, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe when they vanish into the hands of Roman Kit, literally her rival inside the workplace. Those letters are literally diary entries of her life. So she has a little typewriter, a little bit of romance, and like a little bit of war going on too. An epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope and heartbreak and the unparalleled power of love. And it does have both point of views of Iris and Roman, so you have their little thoughts of what they thought with each other. This is the second book, the continuation of what happened, Powerless series. My second book right here. It's on my fall TBR. Oh, there's a lot of mixed feelings, but I absolutely adore this series. Powerless, this is the first book. You're following Peyton and Kai. Peyton is a thief, ordinary, and survivor. And then Kai, he is a prince, elite, and enforcer. When she saved Kai, she is thrown to the trial in a brutal competition showcasing the elite's powers. Trials and the opponents within them don't kill her. The prince she's fighting feelings for is if he discovers what Peyton is, completely ordinary. And it's just like Hunger Games, the little trials and the fighting, and it's like really cool. I'm really bad at explaining this. I have trouble explaining what fantasy is because there's like a whole world. She literally blessed us with a novella because I needed more of her writing. Literally a novella of Adena, because Peyton is the main character in this one, and her best friend Adena is left in the slum, and Adena's left behind. This is her story of what happened and what she was doing while Peyton was in the trials. Adena and her little love interest in this book, I literally love Adena, and she reminds me of myself. So this is my intake of telling Laura Roberts that please, I need more Adena. I don't care how you do it, but I need more Adena. And I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because I relate to Adena and I love her story. And I cried in this book, literally bawling my eyes out. If you know, you know. The next books are kind of like my childhood movies that I used to watch. And I didn't know there were books. These are for the people that love Coraline. I love Coraline. Dun-dun. Literally my favorite movie. It's a little summer story. It's kind of giving like Alice in Wonderland because Coraline goes through this door and it's like crazy. Yeah, I have like a little reading vlog of this book, so make sure you guys watch that. And the next book is The Night Before Christmas, the one and only Sally. At the time, it was like really popular and getting sold out everywhere until one day I found it at Walmart. This is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. This is Sally's point of view. Jack and Sally are truly meant to be, or are they? Sally Skellington is officially newly Pumpkin Queen. Sally adores Jack with every inch of her fiber seems. If only she could say the same for her new role as the Queen of Halloween Town, cast into the spotlight and tasked with all sorts. But when Sally and Zero accidentally uncover a long hidden doorway to an ancient realm called Dreamtown, unknowingly sets in motion a chain of events that will put her future as Pumpkin Queen and the future of Halloween Town itself in jeopardy. Can Sally discover what it means to truly find herself and save the town she learned to call home? Or will her future turn into her worst, well, nightmare? What am I doing? It should be next to Sally. Ta-da! So we have Coraline and Sally. So the next book is kind of like a little new release. So stay tuned for the reading vlog about this book, but basically this is The Love of My Afterlife. She posted about this book and I was like, whoa. And I was like, what is this? What is this? And I was like, actually posted and recommended this book and I need to read it. And I was like, okay, kind of like cozy, spooky little vibe. Recently, deceased woman meets the one in the afterlife waiting room, scoring a second chance on life and love, and she could find him on Earth before 10 days are up. Such a cool concept. Yeah, so while she was waiting in the waiting room, a guy mysteriously popped up and literally they locked eyes and fell in love. She's like, oh my god, this guy is the love of my life. But yeah, anyways, that guy went back down to Earth. I actually met my love of my life in the afterlife. And now I can't have the chance with him. And then Mary was like, okay, we could do you one thing. We could make you go back to Earth. Give you 10 days to find him and good luck after that. So you're going along with their journey and trying to find the guy. Very unique. It's kind of giving like Ashley Poston's writing, which I love, and like that little magical realism. Really cool, fun read. It's like when you're in the mood to have a fun little time, okay? It's Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. It's kind of the same concept as this. We're following Wallace. He's a grumpy old man. The Reapers comes to collect Wallace from his funeral. Wallace begins to suspect that he might be dead, but when Hugo, the owner of the particular tea shop, promised to help him cross over. But even in death, he's not ready to abandon the life he barely lived. So when Wallace is given 1 week to cross over, he sets about living a lifetime in 7 days. And this guy is like in the middle. What is that? What is it called? A limbo? I have a vlog on this so you guys can see my whole thoughts and journey. And this book was kind of funny too. And there's so many like little lessons going along with this and you didn't know about life, and always living in the present and never take anything for granted because you never know when your time is gonna be up. I really enjoyed this read and I definitely would recommend this to you guys for fall. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. She's actually my next favorite author. I love her writing. It's very poetic, very haunting kind of way. This one is for the reads if you're actually gonna sit down and read. Consider it as a classic. Let the words absorb you in your soul. And this one is for the readers who like attention to detail. She loves to describe the trees for quite a bit. So we're basically following the main character. She is 21, kind of naive, and she doesn't have a name throughout the book. Then she is swept off her feet by a dashing widower, Maximum den Winter. So Maximum, he has a big house, literally a big mansion of Manderley. It's really quite beautiful how Daphne du Maurier describes it, and I feel like I could picture it even though it's very, very detailed. And he has like a late wife. His wife died and her name was Rebecca. The main character is going to Manderley because she fell in love with Maximum de Winter and they're together in this mansion. Not trying to replace Rebecca, but there's like servants in this Manderley house and they're like, well, you're not Rebecca. Crazy stuff happens and you're going along with the main character of finding out what happened to Rebecca. You need to sit down and actually read the book because it kind of gets slow sometimes, but that's the beauty of classics. And then the last and final book that I recommend, this one's actually one of my 5-star reads. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. Oh my god, I love this book. V. Schwab is very poetic too. You're basically following Addie LaRue, based in the beginning of France, 1714. Basically makes like a deal with a darker shadow. Everyone around her is telling her never pray or ask for anything when it turns dark out. Adena LaRue did it anyways. She was like, I want to live forever and I want to be free. And he was like, okay, we will do that for you. So you're going along with her, the past of going up to the present. Every person that she meets, who she is. They always forget. They're like, oh, who are you? She's like, I literally just hang out with you last night. How do you not remember me? So the cons of living forever because no one will remember you until one day a guy remembers her. Going along with her, and it's so beautiful, and I highly recommend this book. That's all I'm gonna give you until you guys read the book. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let me know in the comments what books you have on your fall TBR. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.